It's often proclaimed that we know less about the depths of the ocean than we do the surface of the moon. While the accuracy of this statement has faded over the decades, there's still no denying that our earthly bodies of water possess a mysterious quality that drives us to documentaries or dives of our own. Under the Waves, developed by Parallel Studio, thrusts you deep beneath the ocean's surface in the hopes that you'll become one with the water. Is the experience a diver's dream, or one that will leave you with the bends?
Let's just get this suit calibrated, okay? Drowning on my first day would be embarrassing. I mean, the headlines alone.
Under the Waves places you in the role of the appropriately named Stanley Moray, a diver employed by Unitrench, a large company conducting underwater drilling operations for oil. As the sole individual on the underwater clock, Stan is responsible for general upkeep of the various machinery and equipment that keep everything running smoothly. Tim, an old friend of Stan's father and Unitrench employee, keeps you company on the radio as you progress through the game, doling out objectives and shooting the aquatic breeze with Stan to ensure that he maintains his sanity. While there is a job to do, it becomes clear quickly that Stan hasn't traveled down below just because he likes looking at fish. He's also dealing with grief, a source of pain he hopes he can escape away from dry land. Unsurprisingly, his demons catch up with him throughout Under the Waves, regularly manifesting in playable nightmares and other hallucinations. These occurrences push Stan to some dark and contemplative places, as do the occasional radio chats with his wife Emma, who's frustrated by Stan's propensity for swimming away from his problems.
I'm worried, Stan, about you.
No, I don't want you to.
This isn't healthy.
Despite addressing topics full of potential, Under the Waves fails to explore them in a compelling way. The game's writing occasionally throws in a smart quip here and there, but when it needs to get serious, it falters. Stan spends a lot of time thinking out loud, lamenting the past, which comes across as a lazy way of conveying information to the player. It tends to tell, not show, why Stan is struggling. There are certainly scenes that illustrate Stan's adversity more visually, but these two lack much in the way of emotional heft. It's clear how much this game wants you to feel for Stan, who is a likable character, but the narrative execution just doesn't deliver. Underwhelming performances from the game's cast, Stan excluded, and shockingly poor lip syncing don't help matters at all. Most of your time in Under the Waves is spent swimming around an open ocean hub, either independently or inside a small watercraft that enables you to cover distance much faster. Each in-game day, you'll be assigned tasks that need completing, which usually amount to maintenance of some Unitrench machinery. This equipment is spread all around the world, which will give you plenty of time to soak in the aquatic wildlife, such as Joe, the seal. Once you arrive at your destination, you'll typically need to exit the pod and swim inside the facility, eventually turning a wheel or pulling some levers. Your objectives don't deviate too much from that general pattern, and if you think that sounds a bit redundant, you'd be right. This is a job, after all. The good news is that you can take a break from your responsibilities whenever you please. Time only passes when you complete your current main objectives, so there's never any rush to get to work. Most of the time, you're free to explore the game's open ocean, which houses a number of optional collectibles. Some of these are purely cosmetic, offering no tangible benefit in-game, but others are blueprints that unlock items that can be crafted back at your home base, where you also sleep, drink coffee, and make calls to the outside world.
If the whole giant oil conglomerate thing doesn't work out, Unitrench has a bright future in mattresses.
The crafting system is a surprising addition to Under the Waves. As you explore the ocean, you'll be prompted to pick up various pieces of trash categorized by material, such as plastic or metal. This waste can then be used to craft a myriad of items, such as fuel, flares, or even permanent upgrades, such as an expanded oxygen tank for when Stan leaves his ship. I appreciate that this system is in place, but oddly, you don't really ever have to use it. Most of the craftable items aren't required to finish the game, and the ones that are can be found organically in the world. It's bizarre to see such a fleshed out mechanic that's so easy to overlook. Under the Waves features a very environmentally focused narrative, so I wouldn't be surprised if the system was introduced purely to incentivize the player to pick up some virtual litter. Beyond the more tangible incentives, exploration also rewards you with some interesting landmarks, such as a sunken airplane or wrecked submarine. As alluring as swimming outside the lines can be, the issue with exploration, as well as the primary missions, is that movement is slow. This is perhaps unsurprising, as you are underwater, but at times it can be difficult to find exactly where you're supposed to go or what you're supposed to do when you get there. Swimming around in circles simply isn't fun, and I found myself doing that on more than one occasion. Swimming itself takes a bit of time to get the hang of, but is intuitive enough after a few minutes of practice. When inside an interior environment, you can also plant your feet on the ground to walk when necessary. Many people dread water-based levels, so an entire game based around that mechanic will likely attract a smaller niche.
This is like a sewer. Water's filthy.
Under the Waves is a unique combination of ideas, akin to your plate of food on Thanksgiving. It mixes together better than you might expect, but some parts taste a lot better than others. At 7 hours, it's a solid value, especially when considering that you can easily tack on a few more if you intend to find every last secret the game holds. That being said, I think a shorter experience would have behooved Stan's journey. As it turns out, machinery upkeep only stays fun for so long, especially when wrapped in a flaccid story and plotting gameplay. Under the Waves' heart is in the right place, but a shorter, more varied experience would have made for smoother waters.